Welcome to Rollin' Bones. This is Dash.
And this is Done. Today, we're going to talk about what you need to know to start the second edition of Frostgrave. First thing to remember with this is it's a game. It's here to have fun. And any changes or tweaks that you want to make to the rules to make it more fun for you, that's what you want to do.
Another thing to keep in mind with this new edition is the spells have been changed, fixed a little bit, and they are a little more relevant and precise to their usefulness.
Other things that they changed in the second edition is, or some of the reasons for the second edition, is to streamline the rules, to get rid of clunky rules, and make it just a faster, more enjoyable process.
Okay, so let's get into some of these specific changes. I like a lot of the changes personally.
Yeah.
So one of the first ones, first and foremost, is actually how much gold you get to build your warband. It used to be 500 gold crowns. It is now 400 gold crowns. Along with that is a change with the apprentice, though.
The apprentice is now 100 gold crowns instead of 200 gold crowns. The apprentice is still based off your wizard, but his stat line is his move is equal to your wizard, his fight is -2 from the wizard, his shoot is equal to the wizard, their actions their armor is 10, just a static 10. Their will is -2 to the wizard, and the health is -2 from the wizard.
And I'm not 100% familiar on the stat line, the old one, but
shoot was -2.
Shoot was -2, and
one thing
we
that I
think
remember.
health was -4.
I think so, but I could be wrong.
And I believe armor was 10 for an apprentice before as well.
Yeah.
So those are some changes between first and second edition. This is familiar. Your warband can have up to 8 soldiers in it. Same as before, but now they have a new classification for some of the soldiers called the specialist, and you can only have up to 4 specialists as those 8.
Yeah.
And specialists would be probably guys like the marksman.
So your specialists are the archer, the crossbowman, there's a treasure hunter, a tracker, a knight, a templar, a ranger, barbarian, and a marksman.
There's the marksman.
Those are all specialists. The standard soldiers are thug, thief, warhound, infantryman, men-at-arms, and apothecary. And your thug is free, your thief is free, warhound is 10 gold, infantry is 50, the men-at-arms is 75 gold crowns, and the apothecary is 75 gold crowns. So you can always use those to build your warband. If you're if in a campaign, if you lose your guys, you can replace, and you should always be able to be close to 8. But if you're going for some of these other guys, like the marksman is 125 gold crowns. So
ouch.
If you're looking at those and wanting to build your warband based on those, you're going to be soaking up your money pretty fast. But those others, the free guys, will let you fill in those other spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to have a large warband.
That's good. One of the next things that you're going to see different, so there's a basic game that you can play. It used previously 6 treasure tokens before, and now you would use 5. One of the nice things for that is instead of you both carrying off 3 treasures and having a tie, there's now a clear winner.
Yeah. One thing to be aware of, I didn't see this in the first edition, but I read it in the second edition and it made a difference, is that when you're doing a group activation, so when your wizard or your apprentice do an activation with the 3 soldiers around them within 3 inches, the movement is the first one, which was the same. You had to do a move action first, and then you could do your other actions. When you're group activating, you can't use move replacement actions like reloading and things like that. So that does make you choose when to do that group activation and who to include, because that's a big deal in our games, at least.
Yeah, a lot more tactics.
Real quick, just a reminder, it hasn't changed from the first edition, but the turn order is first you roll initiative, You roll a d20. Whoever rolls higher gets to activate first. And so they will do their wizard phase first, and they can take their wizard and activate up to 3 models within 3 inches of them. When you activate, you get 2 actions. And then the other player does their wizard activation. So everybody takes it in turns doing their wizard activation. Then you move to the apprentice, which is the same situation, where you can activate up to 3 models within 3 inches of the apprentice. One thing, each model can only activate once per turn, so you can't move and then activate again with the apprentice and then activating the soldier. Once they've activated, they're done and done their 2 actions. Then you have the soldier phase, and that moves through. Everybody moves the remainder of their activates the remainder of their soldiers. And to activate, you may not do anything. You may just stand there, but everybody has to activate at some point. So I would move all my soldiers and do their 2 actions. Then Dunn would do his, and if there was other people, then they would do theirs as well.
Based on your initiative order, of course.
Yeah. And then creatures at the end have their choices of how there's rules as to how they activate. And again, you'll have to look that up in the book.
So the actions that you can do is first and foremost is move. The second thing you can do is a second move. Next thing that you can do as an option is fight. You have to be in base-to-base contact for that to happen. After that is shoot. Shooting means you need to draw a line of sight and take into account whether or not you moved. And also intervening terrain is a big part of how well you can hit your opponent. So those are things you need to take into account. Another action you can do if you're a wizard or apprentice is cast a spell. Then you can also pick up and drop treasure. And then there are special actions, and those are detailed with the spell or whatever.
Or the weapon.
The weapon, whatever's giving you that special action.
Then one thing to be aware of when you are rolling, especially in a fight situation or something like that, a base roll of a 20 is an auto success. So when you roll a 20 on the d20 before you add in any of your bonuses or minuses, if you roll a 20, it's an auto success. On the other side of that, if you roll a 1, it's an automatic failure. So those make a difference.
Does that include, how does that work with defense rolls?
If you roll, let's say you roll a 19 and you have a +3 to your shoot, to shoot me, then so you have a 22. Let's say I have a fight +1 and I roll a 20 and I get a 21. Well, I automatically succeed and dodge that, even though yours was higher than mine.
Because the 20
is an automatic success.
Okay, that makes sense. When you fight or when you're in base-to-base contact, the only option you have is to fight.
You can't move, you can't cast a spell, you can't shoot, you can only fight. The only way to move out of combat is to win combat, and when you win the fight, you can either move yourself an inch at the end of combat or move them an inch away from you at the end of combat, just in a straight line directly away from each other.
That's assuming you didn't
kill them.
Kill the model, of course.
Yeah, but that's the only way to move out of combat.
Going back to the natural roll of 20, it is a critical hit, and it doesn't double damage anymore, it does +5.
And that is still an optional rule. I just wanted to put that in there, the change between the
old rule
of it used to double damage, now it just does +5 damage. Poison is something that was in some of the spells and things like that, but I didn't read it in the regular rules, and now it's in the base rules. If something does poison damage to you, if you take any amount of poison damage, then you are reduced to 1 action per turn. So when you activate, you can only make 1 action with that model instead of 2. But any healing or anything, or dispel poison or anything like that, gets rid of the poison altogether. And you can only be poisoned 1 at a time. So it doesn't matter if I'm dealt damage 5 times from a poison weapon, I'm only poisoned once. But then once that's healed, I can be poisoned again.
Treasure tokens, this is true from last time. They reduce your move by 1/2 and give you -1 to fight.
If you're carrying if you're encumbered, carrying a shield, a two-handed weapon, a staff, a bow, a crossbow. So you, if you have a hand weapon or a dagger, you don't have the -1 to your fight. So that's where your thief and your thug and people like that come into play, is carrying that stuff. It makes it a little bit better for them. It's a little less of a drawback for them to carry it.
And as before, you can only carry one token at a time as well.
We're looking forward to starting our campaign with the 2nd edition rules, and next time that should be what we are doing as a campaign.
Show some of that and hopefully have some fun. Well, I know we're going to have fun, but
I hope you enjoyed this and that this was informative and helps you understand the differences between 1st and 2nd edition, so that you can move into that and start playing 2nd edition games.
Yeah, looking forward to these changes. Thanks for watching.